Hello there, welcome back to Gatabud. This is my video on fast AP, and as a father and a husband who has limited time to play games, peak efficiency is important to me. Therefore, these are my personal findings and preferred methods for farming fast AP. The general use case here is your mid-chapter working through hard mode, and you realize your materia isn't quite what you need it to be to easily defeat one of the hard mode story bosses. What do? Do you abandon the chapter? No, you go to Chadley. You're missing one of the best AP farming tools right under your nose. Let's get into it. I always want minimal prerequisites when I roll out a video, but a universal AP farming one is completing the Chocobo Sage quest in the Nebel region. At the very end of it, you get the Chocobo arm guard. So if you haven't done that, you need to find Billy doing grunt work at this pool and make sure you finish the quest up through beating the Sage in a race. Now, this method does have a prerequisite, and it is not too bad, and it's something I strongly recommend you meet anyways for hard mode, and that is you have to clear the first two of the brutal challenges. Now, the second one gives you an elemental materia, so this should be your highest priority thing to complete anyways, so I don't feel that bad saying you need to do this, because elemental materia is the single most important in the game. But you basically just need access to this brutal challenge. This method really shines when you have one specific very high AP requirement materia that you're trying to level up, and that's what we're going to showcase here. The Swiftcast materia takes a whopping 18,000 AP to go from 4 to 5 star. That's what we're going to do here. I put that on my Chocobo arm guard paired with an AP up materia. So this thing's going to get ×6 AP. And then outside of that, I put on my other two characters, and by the way, you can do this with any 3 characters you want. It really doesn't matter. I put the Cetron equips that have 8 AP slots and just fill it up with other stuff. So like Magic Focus is a really good materia. I want to work on that. I want to finish off some MP up. You get the gist. And then I fill most things up with other generally useful stuff that I'm trying to level up. The only like real combat requirements I would say is I like to have one person with auto cast healing at least, and then I do elemental fire or elemental fire and ice, and then Cloud gets a couple of ATB related things, but you don't even need that. I would just recommend elemental, and then revival is good, which is something you need to level up anyways. So I've been maxing out my 7 revival materias doing this. So these are my final 3 right here. So very simple AP gear setup. It's really flexible. I put magnify haste on Aerith as well. Let's start the unending nightmare. And the only unending nightmare here is needing a bunch of AP for your characters. And the round 1 is this enemy called Queen Bee. You want to ignore Queen Bee and just go straight for the Alpha Dunk right now. Drop a Hastiga. And you want to try to do a focus thrust from behind on Alpha Dunk. So you just try to dodge and get around it. Then once you stagger it, just braver it down. And that's the only semi-complication. You now have these guard bees, and you want to ignore Queen Bee and go for the guards. Pretty easy enemies. They're giving you 12 AP, and look, when you beat the guard bees, the Queen Bee just brings out 4 more of them. And you just do this. It is so easy. I was doing this using remote play while on spring break with my family when I was waking up early or whatever, and I just needed to kill like 15, 20 minutes at a time. And next thing I know, my materia is so maxed out. I was just in the middle of doing hard mode grasslands, and I wanted more fire resist for that boss. So that's how I figured out this method. I had already completed this battle for the elemental materia. And these guard bees will continue to come out indefinitely. They have super low health. They give you 12 AP each. You already see my materia leveling up quite a bit. Alright, Cloud has limit, and this is where things start to get a little spicy. If you can pull this off, it's not an every time thing, but it does work sometimes. If you can get separation between the Queen Bee and the rest of the bees, go ahead and start hitting your limit. Finishing touch. I have the equip on Cloud that where you start the battle at max limit level. I ended up staggering the Queen there. Not a big deal. But look, Cloud ends up with limit break fully loaded again. And the bees like instantly go down. I try not to kill the Queen. Well, the Queen's gonna get staggered a lot too. It's really hard to pull off a limit break without also staggering the Queen. But this just gets so easy. Like, there's not really a point in holding back, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit them with a synergy ability here. There go the worker bees there. Vitality up leveled up.
I won't give up.
Let's hit these with a limit right here. This is probably going to finish them all off. No, I missed the Queen. But I also missed half the guards as well. Tifa using Star Showers, also really good. If you're on Grasslands, that's probably your best bet. Or Red 13 using that... that 2 ATB move, I think it's called Stardust Ray.
I'll end this.
And down goes Cloud. People go down, just raise them. That's why I say bring raise. And you don't need to drag out these battles all day. When you're ready to check on all your materia and you're starting to run low on MP, just go ahead and finish it off. Because the setup was just beating that Alpha Dunk, or whatever it's called. So, not a big deal. I'm ready to call it a day on this round.
You're not getting away.
And now I just give up. I'm done. I spent a little over 5 minutes in there. A standard run is somewhere between 4 and 6 minutes. That's within my normal range. And let's see what the results are. The Swiftcast went from 200 AP to 3,375. That is also certainly within my standard range. That puts us at doing this 6 to 7 times to max out something with 18,000 for the final level, which is the highest requirement I've seen. And I'm just talking about the final level, not the levels leading up to getting to this point. And then the other stuff that you have equipped also gets a lot of AP as well. Certainly not as quickly as 6x, but all of those like stat up ones, like MP up, magic up, all that stuff. Vitality up just got 5-starred, so you want to periodically stop, see what you hit 5 stars on that's not really a combat enhancer, get rid of it, and then go through your wish list and see what else you need. And I'll do this every 2 to 3 runs. You can start wasting time overdoing this. Sometimes you're better off just grinding out more wins. But this is my general process. I know this is going to take one more fight right there. And yeah, I'm going to do this a couple more times. And I want this to be 5-starred. When the health is low on the Queen Bee and it's staggered, I'll just like switch characters and try to dodge. Maybe lock one of them into a Kiraga cast for a little bit. You know, just anything to get one last bee spawn off. Once Aerith starts running out of MP, that's kind of my tell that it's time to just finish him off, which I just did. After doing this 4 times, so 20 minutes of combat, the statistical progress is exactly what I thought it was, roughly 66% done. So my estimation of 7 battles is dead on so far. Occasionally, you're going to take out all the bees with a limit without touching the Queen Bee. And that's when you start really raking here, if you can pull that off. And then your limit refills. And then you do it again. And now I am vibing right now. Swiftcast hit it on the 6th. And there is a maxed out Swiftcast after 6 attempts. I was a little underestimating the potential of this method. I had some above average performances, so didn't need the 7th. I clocked in at 1 real life hour making this actual video. Deduct 15 or so minutes from the process without me trying to make a YouTube video. And we've got 45 minutes to get 18,000 AP. That's pretty good. So I chose Swiftcast deliberately because the other methods I saw online typically involved equipping Swiftcast and using Blizzaga with the combination of a Choco King cape and a few other things to quickly take out enemies in Gongaga. So I'm going to fiddle around with it. The obvious con to my method was that you're limited to getting AP from 3 characters, but like I said, this method shines when you are targeting one specific very high amount AP, and you're still going to get AP on all the other stuff that you want. I started formulating this method because I wanted to max out the 3 elemental materias, and you can just kind of see from me scrolling through my materias with all of these 5 stars what the byproduct ended up being. I ignored pretty much anything item related. Not done with all the HPs and MPs, but I've got a lot of really loaded up materia from doing this. And I plan on filling in kind of the gaps if I need to go back and do more. I don't have to do all this at once. I can do this anytime I want. I'm going to continue progressing with hard mode, and things like Magic Focus will get some more AP from that. I might go back and do another session to knock out one of these Magic Focus to max out, but I don't know. I don't want to get burned out on a grind that may not be necessary from me progressing through hard mode, which is what I'm starting to do. I'm a regular guy that got this game when everyone else did. I've got a wife, I've got kids, I've got a job. I'm just now getting to hard mode because I made all of these minigame videos. For science, I am going to mess with this Gongaga method. Cloud has a Choco King cape. I've got First Strike. I can start off a battle and instantly cast Blizzaga. The general gist I got from the Gongaga method is you start at the Cliffside Storehouse and you just clean house up until the Woodland Moogle. Fast travel around. I'm in hard mode, so one obvious concern is running out of MP, but from what I've seen, you just go in already ready to cast Blizzaga, insta-cast it, and you're quickly taking out enemies. And like I said, the pro to this method is that you have all of your characters getting AP and not just the 3. And you can clearly see I'm getting a lot of materia levels right now, but I was getting way more like high volume materia level on what I actually wanted in the Chadley battle. There's certainly lots of AP to be had here, and if you don't have access to the battle that I use to get this done, that's a very obvious concern that would make Gongaga the preferred method. But as far as I'm concerned, this is useful, but not my favorite. And all of those secondary materias that you see me getting levels on are just junk that I wasn't really interested in prioritizing. Like, you see a lot of chakras equipped. Like, that's what I had left over after doing this. And oh, by the way, I have a couple more 18,000 materia that I can still do from that Chadley battle. So, you know, it's like, I wanted to point this out. There's also similar strategies in Nibelheim that I saw and elsewhere, but I like my Chadley method personally. But if this is your preferred method, to each their own. I'm not here to knock one thing or another. If you're getting AP and you're happy, that's what matters. Lastly, I did want to mention that you can technically do this outside of Chadley if you like the Queen Bee. You just have to constantly restart your chapter using chapter select and restart this quest, My White-Haired Angel, and you can get access to the Queen Bee without having access to the Chadley battle that I was doing. But it kind of defeats my goal of convenience and being able to do it whenever you want without impacting your progress in the chapter you're currently in. Well, I want to thank you again for once again tuning into Gatabud. The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coverage has been a game changer for the channel, and I am getting ramped up into producing videos on all of the brutal challenges and all of the battle-related content, as well as the mini games that I have not released videos for. So comment below on some specific things you want to see. They are all coming soon. I will see you again soon, my friends. Thank you.